My name's Jamie Dorley, and welcome to the Wine and Wellness Week. This is Winter Wonderland 2014 edition and holiday party. Is this the first day or the last day?
Last day.
Oh, last day, okay. Get me worried. So it's the last day of the Wellness Week. So who has not been here before? Anybody new? A couple people? I'm going to put a bed in the back for you if you're here any more than you are. So let me give you a quick overview of what the Wellness Weeks are and how our program works. So the whole idea with natural healing is that you get healthy and then keep you healthy, right? That's really the goal. So if you have any health challenges or conditions, maybe you have diabetes, maybe you have arthritis, maybe you have depression, whatever it may be, if you have any conditions going on, schedule time to meet with any of the healthcare professionals here. We have about 7 different healthcare professionals that can help you, and based on what your challenge is, we'll direct you to the right person. Plus, we work together. So if you're waiting to see Dr. Weiner for an allergy treatment, you may want to schedule with me or Dan to get you in here sooner so you don't have to wait till you see Doc, right? Why wait to 2 or 3 months when we can get you started right away? That way, when you get to Doc, he may only need to fine-tune you, okay? So the goal is to get healthy and then keep you healthy. So our program really has 3 phases. Just bear with me, I'm a little dry today. Here you go. Oh, you already got it. You already got it. Yeah. So phase 1 is a cleansing program. Now, it's not a laxative. It's a cleanse, okay? How do you detoxify the body? There's really 5 ways. Exhalation, when you breathe, right? Perspiration, when you sweat. Excretion, when you have bowel movements. Urination. And then for females in those years, menstrual cycles. So you need to detoxify in a healthy way every day. So that's phase 1, is we want to get your diet and your lifestyle cleaned up. Phase 2 is targeted nutrition. If you have IBS, we need to give you probiotics and maybe GI Complete. Then the goal is to get you healthy and then put you on a wellness maintenance program. And then what do you need to do? Look at the Wellness Weeks, because we do these 5 times a year. And what do you get for free this week? You get free healthy food, right? Pretty good deal. You get 35 workshops you can attend. We have free product demos, and some demos we charge for. Free demos, and today we're doing, Candace Corcoran is actually doing free Mighty Mini, the microcart. So if you're not scheduled already, there's a sign-up sheet. I recommend you sign up so you can try some of this demonstration out for the equipment, right? The nice thing about the Mighty Mini is this is a portable version of microcart. So you can actually purchase this and take it home with you. For what? Oh, there's really 4 things, right? Pain, healing, weight loss, and then a lot of people use it for skin, okay? So those are the 4 main things, but it can help with so many different things, and we're going to go through those today with you. So the Wellness Weeks, you get free food, workshops, product demonstrations. We have healthcare professionals from different companies here to answer any of your questions. Plus, we have samples. Anyone try the chewables today or the Pro Colors? In addition, we have smoothies you can try. We have free literature. You guys got some literature right here. Plus, behind this gentleman there is a tree with literature. Plus, in the store is a lot of literature. We'll try to make this work, so bear with me, okay? So everything's for free, and if you want to buy anything, everything's on deep discounts. That's a pretty good deal, right? So what do you guys need to do then? You need to come here and support us. So the idea is you buy your vitamins for the next couple of months to our next event. When's our next event? March 7th to the 14th. Then it's every other month throughout the year. We skip February because of the weather, okay? So it's a great deal. You may also see us at other healthcare professionals in the area. Don't get upset. Doc's okay with it. Everyone knows. So we work with everybody. We're neutral. Also, if you have a healthcare professional you're working with, and you like us to do a workshop or a wellness event, give us their information and we'll call on them. Okay? So we're trying to help with the education for everybody. In addition now, we do radio shows. And everyone have a radio schedule? You have one? Okay. In addition, we do...
What station is it on? Because I haven't found it.
620.
AM. Thank you.
770.
Oh.
KDKA, which is what, 1020? And now we're on, you can pick us up. It's not a blog. It's an internet radio station. It's called WBAD. We're on WBAD Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. The nice thing with that is you can pick it up on your cell phone. Who has a computer in here? You guys got computers, right? On the computer. And now the new cars, you can pick it up right in the car.
Are you kidding?
No.
Wow.
So we got involved with WBAD because we knew in a year, 2 years, 3 years from now, people are going to be listening to everything streamlined. The terrestrial radio stations are in trouble because unless you have an old radio or in the car, it's going to be obsolete. So WBAD is fairly new, but the nice thing is the quality. Has anyone heard us on there? It's a, you have? Yeah. How's the quality on that one? Yeah, it's like a FM radio station. So the quality is superb. Okay, so Wellness Week's 5 times a year. All you need to do is come back, bring somebody with you, and we can keep having these events, okay? So today we're going to talk about the Mighty Mini. This is microcurrent. So can you imagine this one machine? Looks like a high-end razor to me, but this one machine can do all these different things. So beauty, pain relief, sports. So the nice thing is that it really helps with healing. When Dr. Mike Epitropoulos brought this out to me, I, of course, was very skeptical, right? That little thing, what's it going to do? So I'd hurt my, right around the scapula, shoulder blade, working out to the point my arm was getting numb. And that's not good, right? Because you're having pitching on the nerve. Luckily, it was only muscle. But Dr. Mike gave me a machine to try, and I noticed it within 5 minutes. I noticed a difference. So you can use it acutely to treat. Anyone have sciatica here? Sciatica, your husband? Yeah, works really well in sciatica. Okay, that's a really nasty pinching of the nerve in the hip or lower back. A lot of people use it acutely, just any place on their body that hurts. Another way you can use it is you can test any of the acupuncture points. You guys know what acupuncture is, right? Interestingly enough, when were those points discovered? Acupuncture. About 5,000 years ago, right? Yes, in China. And now with modern technology, they want to see how close they were with these acupuncture points. And they were right on. Yeah, right on. So acupuncture actually uses needles to put into a meridian to clear it. The best analogy I have for you is that we have a lot of little streams around here in Pittsburgh, right? In the springtime, they're all congested with what? Yeah, garbage, leaves, sticks, you know, trees, whatever it may be from the rough winter, right? So the stream is fine. What's going on? The stream is congested. And what do? Clear the debris, what happens? Everything flows again, right? Same thing with this. If you have congestion, and you clear it, now energy flows through. And we're going to show you how in a minute, okay? So we're not getting into all these different things. Just realize that microcurrent has been around since the 70s, and Dr. Milovich is the one who created this. So I want you to realize we are working with the Michael Jordan of the microcurrents. This is not a novice. This guy has been working with microcurrent for 40 years, and he's the one that designed this machine. But it's been used a lot in cosmetology. And I'll show you some pictures of Princess Di that used to use this machine. Excuse me. And also all these different things for pain and healing. That's the part that gets me most excited, because when you have sciatica pain, right, that could be the point where you're not functioning. When you have pain that's affecting how you function throughout the day, people are miserable, right? And usually they don't get a lot of help. Chiropractic can help, massage can help, nutrients can help, but when you combine it with the microcurrent, head and shoulders above anything. We have a woman that works for one of our suppliers for products, and she's up in Connecticut. So I could just tell over the phone she wasn't herself, right? You can just tell sometimes. She said, oh, you know, she had lost over 100 pounds, was doing great on the program, and I think her trainer pushed her a little too much, right? I worked as a trainer for years. You're supposed to stimulate the body, not annihilate the body, right? So she was to the point where she hurt her sciatica, and she was in bad shape. So I set her up our joint program, which is what, HA Plus? Anyone use HA Plus? Okay. X-Flame, and then Omega 3D. Plus, I sent her the microcurrent. I said, look, you don't have to know anything about this. Just turn it on and put it on the spot that hurts. So she called me back a few days later, and she says, I don't want to jinx it, but I think this is working. She was shocked, right? So when you're very skeptical and it still works, you know there's no placebo there. So you can use it acutely or on different points to test, and then different points to treat. And we're going to show you how today. So we know a living cell is really, this is key, because this works at the cellular level, okay? It's not working on brain chemistry like maybe an opioid would. It's not working on anything other than the cellular level, how the cells function. So a cell, of course, is self-contained. Assembling means it's always building and getting rid of waste, right? It's always working. So right now, your body that we have here is not the same body you had 7 years ago, because all your cells regenerate. That's good news, right? Because maybe you smoked and drank and ate poorly and had a lot of stress, and you really didn't live a good lifestyle. The good news is you can change. Bad news is you can change, right? Because you can change from good to bad. So realize that you're always remodeling new tissue. And what do we use as our building blocks for new tissue? Food and water, right? You might have heard Dr. Weiner before talking about the 3 little pigs, right? Because he says he's got to break it down to the kindergarten level so people realize what he's talking about. So you can build your body out of what? Brick, straw, or mud, right? And what you build your body out of determines how healthy it is and how strong it is. So you have a whole mix of molecules inside the cells. So that's why the microcurrent works so well, because it's working at a cellular level. And we know all those meridian points have been proven. So we're not getting too technical here, okay? So everything in the universe appears to be electromagnetic with a specific response or frequency. You guys know that? Anything that's living has a frequency. It's been proven. So depending on what that frequency is, they communicate electrically, right? All the cells in our body have an electrical charge. We know that. If you want to say where is the future of natural or any medicine going, it's this right here. It's the Eniscan that Dr. Dan Wagner uses up in Wildwood. It's the siren that Dan uses here. It's the microcurrent that we're using. Everything has an electrical charge and a frequency. And when that frequency is disrupted or changed, you have dysfunction. But when you dial it back in, you restore function. Think about it this way, right? You're driving up here from maybe Penn State, right? And you go over the mountains, and now the radio is staticky. Do you throw the radio out? No. What do? Dial it back in. You tune it back in. So same thing with the frequency of the radio. Our body has frequencies in every cell. So real quick, you have receptors on your cell. You know what those are? Those are parking spots, right? So nutrient comes along or hormone comes along, like testosterone, attaches to the cell. Now it tells the cell to do something, right? So you have the transduction and then you have a response. So everything's got to attach to the cell and then tell it to do something. And then you have the response of the body that does it or it doesn't, right? So we're not getting too technical. That's why you guys realize that every cell has a different function. And when you restore the frequency, the cellular responses now are true. Okay, they're not going to be disrupted. Same thing here. Again, this is very technical with these pictures, but what they're trying to show you is that you have different electromagnetic responses depending on where the cells may be. So these are synapses like you would see in the brain. If you hear neurotransmitters, dopamine, serotonin, those type of things, right? That works through a synapse or a communication channel. And then you have long distance signaling in the body, which is more hormonal. So you have local and long distance, right? So you have local and systemic. Same thing with the way the system works. Oh, thank you. I'll tell you what, Candace is fantastic. This girl does everything here, and she's done a great job. So I just want to thank her. So this is how you began. You know, we looked at this. You know, you have that charge. It's a positive and a negative that connects, right? This is how you were born or conceived. It was really interesting recently was we had a seminar that Dr. Len Bransowitz presented some really interesting data because we always thought that the neurotransmitters in the brain are only there. Where else are the neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, norepinephrine, epinephrine? Where else do we have them in the body? In the brain? Where else? The gut, right? So we always thought that. Now it's been proven. How? Well, now when they do the new ultrasounds, the technology is so great that they can see the brain develop first and what's second, the gut. So they're calling the gut now the second brain. And not only that, they're saying you got about 90% of your neurotransmitters in the intestinal tract. You know, some people are very intuitive, right? Like she said to me, oh, you're not feeling good. She can tell just by seeing me, right? Or you didn't get enough sleep, right? That was the second thing. She was really trying to say you look terrible today.
No, I just
and why?
howled too long
Okay.
last night.
Oh, howling, huh? Interesting. So yeah, you have intuition. You may say, you meet somebody and it's like, that person I don't like, right? There's a reason why. Your body's telling you with your neurotransmitters that, hey, this person may not be a good match for me. I met this young woman last summer through some friends of my son, and, you know, she explained that she was in natural healing, so we had an instant connection, right? It was really cool because she probably doesn't run into a lot of people that have that background. So you can tell with people when you meet them, that intuition is called following your gut. Always follow your gut because it's going to be right 99% of the time. And this is why. Yes? So this is looking at cell division, mitosis. It's an electrochemical process. That's all I want you to realize there. Chemical process. You ever touch somebody and you get a shock? Right? Yeah. You look at somebody who's maybe has been read their last rites, you know, and they got their on a machine, and what do you see? Electrical charges, right? The brain's still functioning, even though for all intents and purposes the person has passed on, right? But you'll see those electrical charges to the point where the person is, like I said, has passed, but the brain is still charged and still functioning. Did you see this happen recently? A woman, I think she was in Mexico. She died for 45 minutes. Anyone see that? You did? Okay. She was giving birth, right? Giving birth. They wanted to save the baby. The woman was pronounced dead for 45 minutes. Now, I don't know what they did with her for that 45 minutes. And was she like jumping out of the ambulance or at the morgue or how that happened? But first time ever, no damage at all. So that's telling me is she still had electrical charges going on, but maybe the pulse was so low they couldn't even read it. But really interesting what's going on. So everything has a frequency and a visible light. So when you look at different radio waves we talked about before, microwaves, infrared, visible light, all these different things, right? We also have the Oligo scan here. Has anyone been tested for heavy metals here? Yeah. That works how? That works on light frequency. So how long, actually, how long does it take for the light to reflect off those tissues? So, I mean, the stuff that's going on right now is just fantastic because of technology.
How long does it take for the light to reflect?
You have the test on?
Instantly?
Almost, yeah. I hold it for 2 seconds. Yeah, that's it. Because in that time, you get the result. And I just hold it there for an extra second just to make sure, but it's basically 2 seconds. Folks, if you got here a little late and you want some handouts, we got them up here, okay? So the goal of this, I like instrument, that's a nice word, technology, machine. Now, has anyone been tested on the microcurrent? It's called a clinic in a box. Clinic in a box or clinician in a box, yeah. It's about, there's around here, I'm not sure, but the creator of that is, her name is Dr. Carolyn McMakin. At my previous company, I got the pleasure to meet with Dr. McMakin. And she went through all the technology on the microcurrent in a box, which is much bigger and more elaborate. So that technology has been around for a long time. What's the challenge with it? It's very bulky. It's between 7,000 and 10,000, depending on which bells and whistles you buy with it. Right? You need a tremendous amount of training on it because it zeroes in on all the different frequencies. Where this, it's easy to use. There's a booklet here that if you get the machine, you get the booklet. We also have webinars. And if you haven't seen the webinar, you can get the link and just watch it anytime you want. So very easy to use, portable. The best thing I think is the pain and the healing. You guys remember Paula used to come here and do the skin scanning? Yeah, really interesting. She did a little experiment. She did half her face with the microcurrent for 10 days. Most people would do it because they say, well, if I get results, I don't want it to look funny, right? You just do the other half for the next 10. She did half her face for 10 days, and you could see the difference. Unbelievable. You can also feel it sometimes, so it's not unusual to feel it. Don't always have to feel it. But great for healing. For most of the men in this room, it doesn't matter how much we use it, wouldn't help us, right? So, but the women in here could get some little fine-tuning, right? So you can use this for healing. Remember, the body's always building new tissue. So if you wanted to work on wrinkles or sun damage or whatever it was to your face, you can do that because you're always growing new tissue. So the new tissue is growing now with electrical charges that's promoting what? Healing. So you can use this on the face, you can use it on the skin, maybe you had scarring or some damage, some blemishes, whatever it may be. Dr. Epitropoulos also uses it for weight loss because there are meridian points that are tied into your cravings. So weight loss is the other thing that he uses it for primarily. So a lot of great things that this offers. And what we want to do is just separate the two factors, right? One is you can test with this, and two is you can treat, okay?
How do you test?
I'm going to show you. You're going to put the machine on a meridian point. We all have these charts. We're not going to get here yet, but we'll get here soon, right? So Mike Mastracci created these beautiful charts. So all you got to do is put that on there, and generally, either the person that tests you or the testee will feel a little bit of something. Usually like pins and needles, I feel a little bit of a charge, like not quite a shock, but it's a little bit of a pulse. Sometimes it's intense, sometimes it's very mild. Just depends on the person and the breeding point. So that's how you can test. And then if you know, you come in and say, hey, I have a problem with.
Well, when you actually test, does the person have to say, well, I don't feel anything, or I
No,
do?
it's the tester that is the most important. They may or may not feel anything, it doesn't matter. If they feel something, tell them to let you know, but they don't have to feel anything. And sometimes it's very intense. We had somebody with a thyroid issue. We tested her thyroid during our training, and she was like, I can't hold it on there anymore. It hurts. Yeah. So it's not going to knock you down or anything, but you can feel it. So if somebody comes in and they say they have thyroid issues, and I go right to that, I can treat them now by holding it on there for a longer period of time, because now it's going to clear that point. Did you lose one? Just like in school, all the bad kids. Okay, anyone ever hear of TENS? T-E-N-S, TENS unit. What is it?
It's an electrical current. It's
Right.
probably similar to.
Oh.
It's electric.
Seemed like it would be similar, right? That's why we have this slide. Okay? And we're looking at what? 3 things. ATP, cell membrane, and protein synthesis. Protein synthesis is what? Building of muscle and tissue. Very important, right? Cell membrane transport is getting nutrients in and out of the cell. Vital. Especially for somebody who's overweight, because they're not getting any nutrients inside the cell. And then ATP. What's ATP? Adenosine triphosphate. It's the preferred fuel source of what? Muscles, right? Yes, it is. Okay, so interesting enough, TENS, and this is published research, Orthopedics, 1986. What we found is that the TENS unit decreases ATP by 50%. Wow. Not very good, is it? Now it only gets worse. Cell membrane transport is down 30 to 40%. And then protein synthesis is down another 50%. So why would people use a TENS unit if they knew this? They probably don't know it, right? The best thing about a TENS unit is what? You feel something. It must be working. Oh, the doc brought me in. He put that electrical stim on my neck, and I can really feel it. Okay? Now, it will help the muscle contract. That's what you're feeling when that gets turned up. How much benefit is that after reading this? I'm not sure anymore. However, ATP with the microcurrent went up 500%. Remember I said earlier, this is cellular level technology. It increases ATP 500% in the cell. Cell membrane transport is actually the exact opposite of the TENS. And then protein synthesis up almost 75%. Again, published data that's available out there for anyone to look up. And the nice thing is that this has been going on for quite a long time, the research and the data. So it's not something brand new where you would say, well, you know, I'd like to see more data. There's plenty. It's been going on for a long time. So this is from Cell Physiology, again, a peer-reviewed, published journal. And this looks at 5 other healing factors. Fibroblast activation, DNA at the cellular level, lymphocyte, which is your immune cells, right? Insulin binding, wow, that's very important because for a diabetic, their insulin may not be working well. Or, that's type 2, or they're not even producing any insulin, type 1, right? And then calcium channel opening, right? We've heard of calcium channel blockers. This will actually open that up because what's happening with a lot of people now, you may have heard in the news this year, is they're spilling calcium into their blood and creating higher risk for heart disease, right? Why? Because the type of calcium they're taking is usually from dairy products or calcium carbonate. And how much is the MD telling you to take? 1,500, right, milligrams a day. It's too much and it's the wrong type of calcium. So again, they throw the whole baby out with the bathwater rather than saying, well, why? And are there other types of calcium that this would not happen? They just lump it all together. Where we know what MCHC is the preferred source for building bones. So if you have any issues with osteoporosis or osteopenia, let's talk after we're done here. So help yourself reduce pain meds. You know, really sad recently was that my son who's 20, you know, a kid that he grew up with, they weren't close, but I used to coach him in football. So he was, you know, from our township. And he OD'd on heroin and died. Yeah, right. So this pain medicine thing that's going on out there is really scary. Because what a lot of people are doing now when the pain medicine runs out, they're going to buy heroin or something else to do this. So if you have anyone that's having a problem, let us know, because we just started yesterday working with a MD psychiatrist from the Murraysville area that's doing natural healing. And he's an addiction specialist. So I try to help everyone out. And that was hitting a raw nerve just because, you know, the kid was so young and you hate to see that with anybody, especially a 19 or 20-year-old kid. So anyone needs help with that kind of stuff, let us know. But here you go. Unlock a stiff neck, arthritis pain, muscles, whatever it may be. So the idea is you'd keep one of these in your purse or your gym bag or at home and use it when you need it. And then when you go to the healthcare professional that has it, they may use it as part of your treatment plan. Okay. Oh, excuse me. So the nice thing about the Micro Mini is that you can take this home just like you take home a bottle of HA+. So you can take us home with you in a different version for what? To maintain your results. You know, if the grandkids or the kids are coming over, you can be more active that day, but you're afraid because your back is going to hurt. You can take your supplements, right? Do your workouts. And now you got technology you can bring home with you to treat. So we have these endpoints of acupuncture, meridians, right? Has anyone had acupuncture done before? Yeah. Does it hurt? You think it would, right? But it doesn't hurt at all. Now, I know there's a tolerance level for how many needles you can take. And the most I've ever seen anyone do is James Harrison. He's actually back on the Steelers now, the linebacker. He does acupuncture. And they had a video of his training, his workouts, which are just way more intense than anybody else out there, even though he's a professional. There's other professionals that don't work out like him. He had over 400 needles in him at one point. Yeah. I said, wow, there's a tolerance factor there. But if you get a few, you don't even notice it, right? So what we want to do is look at, and you can keep your shoes on. We're not going to get into taking the shoes off today. Okay? So you have this form. You have this chart. Let's pull that out. So Dr. Mike's phone number is on there, but unfortunately, that's his old number. So before we get done, I will get his new phone number in case you have any questions, or you're in the Florida area and you want to meet with him as a patient. So before you start treating all or some of these endpoints, know why you're doing so. Treating the endpoints of acupuncture meridians. So I'd given the analogy of like the streams here locally, right? So these meridians get congested or clogged, right? So you gotta get the snake out and clear the drain, right? So you can do this with acupuncture. What does Dr. Weiner do? Anyone have an allergy treatment by Doc? Okay, what does he use? Needles? And then what does he do on your body? He uses his finger, right? So you can do acupuncture, which is needles, acupressure, which is what he does, or mighty mini microcurrent. So very similar results, and very similar action, just different type of approaches. Okay? So these are all the meridian points. So the idea is that before you start treating all of these or some of these, you can test the points to see which ones are more congested. So sometimes the machine will beep. Sometimes the person testing will feel something. And sometimes you may feel something. It just depends. Okay? So these are all the meridian points that when we're done here, we're doing demos in the back. I'm not going to do them here because there's too many people at once. But Candace is doing them. So if you're not signed up, sign up. And if she's done at 3 and you want to stick around because we have that many people interested, I'll do them after 3. I'm here till 5. Okay? So there's all the points you can look at. These are directly correlated with the acupuncture biomeridians. There's actually a machine called biomeridian out there too. That anyone been tested on that? No? That will do a similar thing. So this is just looking at one example for adrenals. Here's the adrenal point. So you would do is you actually hold this right on that point, and you would wait maybe 5 or 10 seconds to see if you feel anything from especially the person testing you, okay? So with the adrenals, this is just an example of how our program works. Possible causes: illness, reactive hypoglycemia. What's that? Hyper is what? Hyper is high, right? Hypo is what? Low. Okay, hypoglycemia, low blood sugar, reactive to what? High blood sugar to now reactive hypoglycemia. That's why our program focuses on the first meal of the day as being imperative to your success. The first meal of the day has to be low sugar. Has to be. Why? Because if it's low sugar, your blood sugar is low, and then insulin is low, right? You don't need to pump out insulin because the sugar's maintained. Then how do you feel when you're balanced like that? Feel great, yeah. So what would be a good breakfast? You can do one of our shakes, Super Shake, Best Way, or what about food-wise? How about a veggie omelet? Maybe some oatmeal. But most of our breakfast choices are loaded with sugar, like what? Cereal, fruit, juice, pancakes, waffles, bagels, donuts, whatever it may be, right? So when you start off the day with a high sugar breakfast, your blood sugar does what? Boom, goes up. And then what do we pump out for that? Excess insulin, right? Why? Because there's too much sugar there. Insulin's job is to get sugar inside the cell. When there's that much sugar there, it can't get it all inside the cell. What's it do with most of it? Kick it out? Kick it out to where? Fat cells, right? So your body takes the sugar and very efficiently, meaning it doesn't burn much, it converts it right to fat. And you go from high blood sugar to low blood sugar, and how do you feel? Oh, crabby, irritable, moody, hungry, tired, right? And what do you go for? Stimulant. Okay? Coffee. Maybe coffee with sugar. They said sweets. Maybe coffee with sugar and a donut. And if you're real good, coffee with sugar, donut, and the other stimulant, nicotine, have a cigarette, right? That's what people are doing. So this is some examples of why you may have adrenal dysfunction. The biggest one is chronic stress, right? Because we're the only species on the planet that has a part of the brain for problem solving that thinks. There's a book out that's called Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers. Because once they're out of harm's way, they forget about the attack. Some of us are still remember things that happened to us in first grade, right? So the worrying factor contributes to this. So dietary changes, of course, supplement, herbal, and then common findings with adrenal hypofunction. So here's some other different points that we're looking at. So in addition to the points we showed here, you flip this over, okay, we have the points on the face, and Level 2 would be what Dr. Mike does, where he's looking at other points, right? All joint pain, this is a part on the outside of the front leg right below the knee. And then low back pain. So there's some areas. The other thing you would do on something like this is the therapist is holding the finger behind the knee because that's going to act as a ground. Okay? So again,
Does it behind the knee always act as a ground, or do you have to put it somewhere
well, sometimes like if I'm doing the finger, I'll do it underneath it.
underneath?
Yeah. So if I'm testing this finger, I'll hold my other finger underneath it. Yeah. Great question. Yeah. So. Okay, so this is showing you more points. Just fast forward a little bit. So this is going through all the different protocols that we have. So you guys can use this as a reference guide. And you can see how you can do this for a localized issue, but even more specific. What does that mean? If you sprain your ankle, you don't want to just put it anywhere. You want to put it on specific points on that ankle. Okay. Same thing with the knee, elbow, calf, shoulder. And, someone like Dr. Mike, who has done this extensively for a long time, he may hit an area in a few places if the person needs more support. Okay. Did anybody go on the webinar for this? No? Great. Any other questions?
Does this have to be recharged?
Great question. No, there's actually batteries in it.
Oh, so you replace?
Similar to like a watch. There's little round discs. 4 of them. What's that?
How much is the unit?
How much? Normally $199. At the Wellness Week, $149. Yeah. So significantly different than the 7,000 to 10,000 on the original machine. Okay. Anybody else? You guys were a great group. I appreciate your patience with my voice today. Thanks for the fantastic questions. Sign up for Candace now. And like I said, if you need to stick around, I can help you guys out. If you want a machine, let us know. Thanks so much, folks.